Alright guys, so here we are, the big trailer we've been waiting for. Of course, this is going to be a big week for trailers. We got Blue Beetle today, we got Secret Invasion last night, Across the Spider-Verse tomorrow, Barbie tomorrow as well, and we just got this official trailer for DC's Blue Beetle. It actually leaked online a little bit ahead of time. It officially released at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm actually recording this before then. I'm actually on my lunch break from school, sitting in my car doing this. I don't really have like a whole lot of time. I probably won't even have time to actually eat, but you know, it'll be worth it, I suppose, because we got this trailer for Blue Beetle, and it was great, because I've always loved the character of Blue Beetle. I grew up watching him on Batman the Brave and the Bold. Great show, great interpretation of Blue Beetle. So to see him finally come to live action, especially played by such a great actor such as Xolo Maridueña, like, I'm so excited to see this. This is going to be the first ever live action superhero movie starring a Latino. Of course, a lot of people kind of forget that Miles Morales is a Latino superhero as well. So that's why I have to specify live action, because, you know, he's on the animated side. But yeah, first live action Latino superhero movie. That's awesome. So I'm so excited for this, guys. So let's go ahead and waste no further time. So hopefully I have a little bit of time to actually eat my lunch and break down this official trailer for DC's Blue Beetle. So we open up on what looks like some sort of like hotel, tropical resort type thing. And I was so confused when this trailer started, because I was like, this doesn't seem like the Jaime I remember. The trailer starts it off as trying to play it off as like, oh, Jaime is like this rich guy, and he's like living in paradise and everything. He's got the sunglasses on. He's just mysteriously looking across the water. And then you've got this character who I'm assuming is probably like his sister or something. That's just my assumption. And she's like, oh, these won't clean themselves, or Jaime, can you come clean this? And turns out he's actually just working at the resort, and he's like, okay, fine. So that was a funny little opening to the trailer. And then we have Palmera City. Probably butchered that name. I am so sorry. Palmera? That's probably what it is. But I love this shot right here. You know, I always love the rooftop sequences when you just got two characters just sitting on the rooftop, just looking off into the distance. It's nighttime. Beautiful shots come into play here. And again, I believe that's his sister. Maybe it's his love interest, although I really hope it's not his sister if she's his love interest. But yeah, so they got a nice little heart-to-heart moment right there. And then we are introduced to Cord Industries. So Cord Industries is going to be playing a pretty big role in this movie, just without Ted Kord actually being involved here. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. We'll talk about Ted Kord a little bit later at the end of the video in the trailer as well. And so it looks like Jaime, like, he's got his hair slicked back, he's got a fancy suit on and everything. His whole family is there encouraging him on. I'm kind of wondering if maybe he got like an internship or something at Cord Industries, which would be definitely really interesting, and just gives me vibes and flashbacks to the Amazing Spider-Man, when Peter, you know, he went to Oscorp Laboratories. So that's pretty cool. I like this, and just I love how supportive his family is of him. His family in this trailer is great. Kind of reminds me of Ms. Marvel. One of the best parts of the whole Ms. Marvel series was her family and the whole family aspect. So it looks like that's gonna be coming into play in here for this movie as well. So we have this really cool futuristic looking elevator, and Jaime is just looking up like, whoa, that's super cool. And then you have this lady who walks out. Now, I don't know who this lady is, what her name is, what her relationship to any of these other characters is. Again, I'm on my lunch break. I didn't have time to do all that research. I don't know if there's a press release or anything like that says that. But she just like walks up to Jaime and gives him this box, and then he's like kicked out for the day, and he gets back to his house and with his family, and they're like, seriously, your first day? Or maybe it was like actually his first day on the job, maybe not just an internship, because actually in this movie he's like a recent college grad, and they're like, seriously, you got back from your first day and all you got was a burger? And this is a great reference right here. Big Belly Burger is that's a popular DC fast food restaurant across all of DC Comics. It's had a big role in the Flash TV series on the CW, and we've seen it pop up in a couple different DC movies and other series as well. So nice to see a nice classic DC reference right there with Big Belly Burger. And yeah, so they're like, seriously, that's all you got was just a burger? Also, I love George Lopez and his hairstyle here in this movie. We'll talk about that in a second. But they open it up, and not only is the Blue Beetle Scarab in there, but they do get some fries as well. So I mean, like, at least they got the food also. But yeah, so they got the Scarab, and this is the clip that was released yesterday. I think that was also leaked online. But anyway, whatever. So Jaime is just holding this Scarab in his hand, and obviously it lights up, it comes to life, and he's like, whoa, I think it likes me. And then suddenly, things are all going good. He's smiling, he's having a good time, and then it like jumps onto his face. I love George Lopez's reaction right here. He's like the crazy uncle. Like, it literally attaches to his face and starts like covering his whole body in, of course, the Blue Beetle suit. And just like the body horror and the terror taking place in this scene, like literally it like rips open the back of his sweatshirt and like these arms just like spring out, and it's like kind of terrifying. Like you can see like it almost looks like it's burning out of his sweatshirt. Like it's terrifying. He like is like, I don't even know what the word is I'm looking for, like launched into the ceiling there. This is one of the funniest shots of the whole trailer. George Lopez, I love the guy. He's hilarious. And so getting to see him, I think, is like the crazy uncle in this movie. I think that's gonna be hilarious. And then we have the Blue Beetle is fully assembling here. This is another really cool shot as well, how like you can see almost like nanotechnology, like it's just like oozing all over his face to, of course, create the Blue Beetle helmet. And there he is, fully assembled, Blue Beetle in action. He looks amazing. This suit is so comics accurate. You do have kind of a heads-up display going on inside, kind of similar to what we had with Iron Man in the MCU. I do also like that, well, actually, I don't know if I really like it. I'm kind of have mixed feelings on it so far about the suit having a voice, because from me growing up and watching Blue Beetle in cartoons, the Scarab would have a voice, but it wouldn't have like a talking voice. It would just like make noises and like beep and stuff, and like Jaime would like understand what the Beetle was saying. But in this one, it sounds like I'm gonna assume it's a she. She has like an actual human robotic voice, like a very Siri sounding voice. So I don't know exactly how I feel about that, because again, it's very Iron Man-y with the AI, artificial intelligence heads-up display thing, but whatever. And he is not at all in control, at least at the beginning of this movie when he first gets a Scarab, because this Scarab, it just shoots him straight up into space. And this was, again, another thing we saw in the little teaser yesterday, but man, just the visuals here are really, really cool looking. He's up in space. He's like, whoa, this is a great shot. This is a great view. And then suddenly he starts falling from space, and then he gets stopped right above the water. I love the wings popping out. That's another very comics accurate thing. So I love seeing that. The reflection, the water looks really cool as well. And then we got the whole family here at Cord Industries, again, with our woman on the inside. And this was another really cool aspect, getting Blue Beetle. Jaime is like testing out his powers. He's in the middle of the street. I'm assuming this is probably like maybe right after he fell back down to earth, because he's still not in control, and a bus is coming towards him. So of course he whips out a quick little shield, which is another comics accurate use of his powers. And again, this trailer's reminding me of so many different things. This is very reminiscent of Invincible. If you saw, I believe it was the season 1 finale of Invincible, man, that was brutal. This is a much less bloody version of that, but like how he has the shield and just like the bus tears right through him, and like he is just standing right there, strong as steel, and you can see the reactions of everybody on the bus, and the wings popping out again as well. And I love how Jaime Xolo's delivery of this line is so perfect. He's like, I think I just cut through a bus. So that was great. This, I don't really know what it is, but probably something in Cord Industries. There's a great shot of the Beetle. Maybe it's gonna show like some flashbacks, like the origin of like how the Beetle got to Earth. That'll be interesting to see. And we have our first look at Susan Sarandon as, I believe her name is Victoria Cord. She's gonna be the main villain of this movie. So I'm really interested to see what type of role she plays. Like, is she the wife of Ted Cord? Is she the sister of Ted Cord? I believe it's like the sister of Ted Cord or something like that. And also, what happened to Ted Cord? Is Ted Cord dead? Did she murder him? I would not at all put it past her. There's another great shot of the family as well. This guy, I don't know who he is. I mean, when he first popped up, I was like, Kraven the Hunter? Spider-Man crossover. But yeah, I don't know if this is like supposed to be a villain from the comics, but he definitely does not look like a friendly guy. There's a great shot of Blue Beetle in action with like the mace hands, with, you know, like the balls with like all the spikes over it. That's great. Again, very comics accurate as well. Blue Beetle in action. This right here, one of the most unexpected but most awesome shots of the whole trailer. The Bug is going to be in the Blue Beetle movie. If you don't know what the Bug is, this is basically Blue Beetle's vehicle in the comics. This was Ted Kord's vehicle, the Blue Beetle's bug, as like his spaceship type thing. Like, this thing is awesome. I never in my wildest dreams thought that we would get this in live action in this Blue Beetle movie, because also, you know, Jaime Reyes doesn't even use it, because the reason Ted Kord had to use it was because he did not have the Scarab. He did not have the superpowers or anything. Jaime, he can fly with his Scarab. So it looks like they're going to be utilizing the technology of Ted Kord, the second Blue Beetle. So Jaime is the third Blue Beetle. I also love how Uncle George Lopez is flying it around as well. Here's another great shot of Blue Beetle really utilizing his powers, whipping out the sword, because the whole thing with the Scarab is basically like whatever you imagine, you can form. It is kind of like, you know, a symbiote, you know, Venom and all that stuff. Like, you can turn your arm into an axe or a sword or a mace or, you know, anything like that. Giant blasters. Like, Blue Beetle is a really cool character in that aspect. And this shot, though, it was very Power Rangers for me, like how he just grabs the sword and then he's like dragging it across the ground. It's very stylized. Like, there's a lot of inspirations going on here in this trailer. And then my favorite part of the whole trailer is at the very end, after the logo flashes up, you can see, again, I assume that's his sister, is playing around with the technology. This looks like they're in what at least used to be Ted Kord's kind of base of operations as Blue Beetle. You can see some of the blasters and stuff like that in the background, because Ted Kord's Blue Beetle actually used a gun, like an actual like physical blaster ray gun type thing. And the best shot of the whole trailer right here is you got Jaime. You can see he's just tinkering around, and you look in the background and you have some comics accurate Blue Beetle suits. Starting off with, of course, this blue and red one of the first ever Blue Beetle, the Blue Beetle of the past, Dan Garrett. I didn't even know this guy was a thing. I only knew about Ted Kord and Jaime Reyes, but then after I saw this trailer, I looked it up, like, oh, what Blue Beetle suit has the red on it? And it's Dan Garrett. So the original, like the very, very first Blue Beetle right there. And then to the right of it, we do have our first look at the live action Ted Kord Blue Beetle suit as well. So that is great to see. And again, clearly this is Ted Kord's former Blue Beetle HQ. But what happened to Ted Kord? Is he going to appear in this movie? Is he dead? We don't know. There have been rumors about maybe like a post-credit scene possibly involving Ted Kord. There were also rumors at one point that possibly Jason Sudeikis, of course, from Ted Lasso, love that guy, love that show, was possibly playing Ted Kord. Kind of funny, Ted Lasso, Ted Kord in this movie. Those rumors have since been debunked. I was super excited when I saw that news, and I was super upset when that news came out that, oh, that's not true. But I'm still holding out hope. I've still got my fingers crossed that, oh, maybe it is true. Hopefully, please, because that would be awesome. It's perfect casting. And, you know, it would be really cool for it to be a reveal that Ted Kord is not dead, especially because, you know, it's a big question of how this movie actually ties into the larger DC universe, especially because, you know, this was developed when the DCEU was still a thing, but supposedly there's not very many actual DCEU references or DC references in general. So it could possibly tie into the new rebooted DCU, the DC Cinematic Universe being in development by James Gunn. So hopefully that can be a thing. And because we know we're getting a Booster Gold series, so have a Ted Kord Blue Beetle and Booster Gold team up series or a project or whatever, just like in the comics, that would be awesome to see. But speaking of DC references, we do get one here at the end when George Lopez says something about fascist Batman. I didn't think it was that funny, but we definitely do have a Batman reference in there, and the only question is, again, whose Batman is it? Is it the Ben Affleck Batman in the DCEU, or is it going to be the James Gunn Batman that is going to be introduced in the Brave and the Bold movie? So we have to wait and see, but guys, this is a really cool trailer. I'm really excited for this movie. It comes out in August. This and the Flash movie, I feel like, are really going to redeem DC movies in the eyes of many people around the world. So I'm so excited for this one. Thought it was a great trailer. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts.